It is my responsibility to come to you again and to share the word of Yahuwah. You need to understand this now. I've never seen so many people so clueless about what is going on around them. Because something is going around you that is not near you doesn't mean that it will not affect you directly. We in this modern world have been living in a mode of crisis and then normalization, crisis and normalization. And also, most of us have not had crisis directly come to our doorstep. So, condolences first to all who are suffering, regardless of the side that you're on. We need to understand what our Creator has to say. I've never seen so much commentary. As much as I've been posting lately, I've been doing a whole lot of listening. Trust me, I listen more than I talk. And so, one of my advices on my posts has been to continue to read scripture, continue to read the word of Yahuwah. And one of the scriptural translations that is affordable is called the Scriptures Translation. You can pick one up at Amazon, and I will do that right now. But this is what you need to understand, and it's found in the scroll of Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 9. And it shall be in that day that I seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. So it's not talking about one nation, but all nations that come against the landmass that we now call Jerusalem. And what does the Creator say? That I seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. Now, you may say, I'm taking this out of context. Let's start in verse 1 of Zechariah chapter 12. This is the message of the word of Yahuwah, and of course, it was spoken through Zechariah against Yasharel, Israel. Yahuwah stretching out the Shamayim and laying the foundation of the earth and forming the Ruk, the wind and breath of man within him declares, see, I am making Jerusalem a cup of reeling to all peoples around, and also against Yehuda. It is in the siege against Jerusalem. And in that day it shall be that I make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. So, what's going on around us right now is soon to affect all of us. You may say, oh, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do my shopping. I'm going to take the kids to school. I'm going to do their homework. This is going to affect all of us, not just one part. And again, condolences to people who have lost family members, close friends, people that they've cared for. I'm really sorry about that. And I don't say that, in a lighthearted way, like as if because it doesn't affect me directly, that I don't have a sense of remorse for all that has gone, is happening right now. I'm really sorry for the people. But we need to understand because we need to be able to prepare. How do we prepare? Prayer, reading of scripture, seeking the Creator's purpose and what we should be doing. Like I said, I need to be using more of my hands and my feet than my mouth. But I'm finding that people are not understanding what's going on. Again, I stated, it seems like it's a sense of crisis, then getting back to normal, then crisis, getting back to normal. People don't know what to do with themselves. We need to be praying. We need to be reading scripture. We need to be understanding what's going on. We need to be praying for people and helping people when we can. Because anyone, what I'm seeing, trying to share with you in Zechariah chapter 12, anyone found fighting against Jerusalem, even within fighting. just for the sake of fighting. It, it's not going to go well. And it's going to draw the whole world into the conflict. I'm not saying that I personally am going to go there and fight, but it's going to affect every aspect of our existence. And so should be drawing closer to our Creator. We should be caring for one another. We shouldn't be making rash decisions because shalom, what the world calls peace, but it's shalom, rest will come to you, Jerusalem. There will be no more trouble. The many not be, especially Yashiyahu, who we call Isaiah, spoke about that. There's going to be shalom. There won't be any more conflict. So we need to be understanding this now, not just looking at the TV or looking at our devices or our personal computers, our iPads, whatever we have, to view what's going on and saying, oh, it doesn't affect me. Hokey dokey. Let me make my plans for my life. We're all going to be affected. Even now, we're affected. So, and in that day it shall be that I make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples, all lifting it are severely injured. Everyone's going to be hurt by what's going on, those directly involved, and all of us who are watching the events. So there's a whole lot of commentary going on, a whole lot of commentary going on, and it's not coming to any real conclusion. People want to talk about the prophetic word, people want to talk about the gruesome details of how people lost their lives, people want to talk about politics, people want to talk about, oh, what's the latest, like it's if it's a movie. It's not a movie. This is real life. This is real existence. And our Abba Yahuwah, our Creator, and Yahusha, who will be returned, whose feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, are viewing all this, and they're viewing us individually in terms of how we are reacting to what's going on. Are we trying to help others? Are we trying to see? And I pray that this goes out to a lot of people. I really do. I feel like my messages are being suppressed. Why? I'm speaking from scripture. I'm not talking about my own opinion. I'm not claiming to be anyone special. Maybe I don't have enough makeup on my face. Maybe my face isn't cute enough. But we all should be listening and watching. We should be doing this now. Watch and pray. We should be praying. We should be reading scripture. So going back again, in that day declares Yahuwah, I strike every horse with bewilderment and the rider with madness. So the person on this horse or this place, people are going to be mad. They're not going to understand what's going on. Madness meaning that their mental capacity to understand, they will not have mental soundness. With madness, and on the house of Yehuda I open my eyes, but every horse of the peoples I strike with blindness. So that was verse 4, but I want to go back to verse 3. And in that day it shall be that I make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples, all lifting it are severely injured, and all the nations of the earth shall be gathered against it. All nations will be gathered towards Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Why? Because that's the area of the Garden of Eden when our first mother made the terrible choice to listen to her enemy who wanted to take her place, a being who was created in Yahuwah, Creator's purpose, said that being said that they would war with mankind forever. And had she conferred and had a conference with her husband and said, let's seek Yahuwah, this is what he said, we would have been in a better earth right now. But the choice was made, and it was a wrong choice. It was a wrong choice. And so we have been through so many hardships on this earth because of that choice. So much hurt and pain, so many horrific matters happening to humans, to the seed of Adam and Hawa, the first man and woman made in the image of Yahuwah. So we are at this juncture awaiting for Yahuwah's firstborn, our Redeemer, the one who will put more back, put the earth back as the Creator originally wanted it. So let's go to Matthew 20. So they made a poor choice, the first man and woman. And the house of Yasharal is not in that land for the most part. The rightful heirs, their inheritance of the King Dawid, Melech Daoud, who is going to be ruler under Yahusha of the 12 tribes in Jerusalem. That nation of people did not obey the word of Yahuwah. And this is why Jerusalem is going to be surrounded with so many enemies. A vacuum has to be filled, and it was filled. So the rightful heirs, the rightful people were kicked out. And those who do not follow Yahuwah are reigning. Tell me, and I said this in one of my posts, is the name of Yahuwah being promoted in the earth right now? Maybe a few. Are people saying, return Yahusha and praying? But we understand a certain sequence of events, outline, has to occur according to the word of Yahuwah. This is how he's going to do it. In what the book we call Revelation Hazan, you would have to read it on your own. But now we're going to go to Matthew 20. This is what happened to the true ruler under Yahusha. This is what happened. He said a parable in Matthew chapter 20. And at last he sent his son to them. So Yahuwah sent his son, his firstborn heir, to them. He came in the flesh as a man. This is about a vineyard, right? This is the parable of a vineyard. They shall respect my son. But when the farmers saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us possess his inheritance. So the head was destroyed, right? And they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, when the master of the vineyard comes, what shall he do to those farmers? Listen. The name of Yahuwah is not promoted in the vineyard called Jerusalem. Everything but Yahuwah is promoted. And Yahusha, the rightful heir, was renamed that pagan name. So what do you think when Yahusha returns, how he will react according to his dad's, what we would call a male parent's advice to how to bring order in the house? Order. Let's go to Jeremiah now at this juncture. Jeremiah 36. So truth has fallen in the streets, and we find, I'm going to read the story. I'm cutting into the verse, or the chapter actually, of Jeremiah chapter 36. And they said to him, sit down, please, and read it in our hearing. Then Baruch read it in their hearing. So Baruch is sort of like a secretary. At that time, Yeremiah didn't really have access to the rulers. We're talking about the rulers. And Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, spoke the word of Yahuwah. And Baruch, his secretary, was relaying the message, or the actual Nabah, what he said, the word of Yahuwah. And it came to be when they had heard all the words. See, they heard that their country at that time, Jerusalem, was going to be captured by Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel, the Nabi, that we have another scroll called Daniel, served under Nebuchadnezzar. So this was before the captivity of Jerusalem, because the people, the nation, the rulers disobeyed Yahweh. And Yahweh said, your enemy's going to rule over you. Jerusalem is going to be, Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. And they didn't believe. They thought they can do as they please. So this is the whole context of this chapter. So Baruch had to relate a report before they were destroyed. We are certainly going to report all these words to the sovereign. And they asked Baruch, saying, please explain to us, how did you write all these words from his mouth? And Baruch answered them, saying, from his mouth he spoke all these words to me and wrote them with ink in the book. So I'm going to come to the point that they heard the message, right? Verse 22 of Jeremiah Yirmiyahu chapter 36. And the sovereign was sitting, the ruler, in the winter house in the ninth new month, with a fire burning in on the hearth, like a fireplace before him. Then it came to be, when Yehudi had read 3 or 4 columns, that the sovereign cut it with the scribe's knife. A scribe is a writer, and threw it into the fire that was on the hearth, like a fireplace, until the entire scroll was burned in the fire that was in the hearth. So the ruler did not like the bad news. And I gave you bad news of what's going to happen to everyone. I didn't say it. It's Zechariah who said it. Everyone that fights against Jerusalem, whether you're inside the city or outside the city fighting and causing all this commotion, I don't pick a side. I sincerely do not pick a side. But if you're found at the end of this age of 6,000 years going there to battle, Yahusha's going to be sent to fight against you. It's not my tribe or my people going to fight against you. The Creator's Ben, his firstborn, is going to fight against you. Because Jerusalem was supposed to be a place of shalom, what the world calls peace, and it has not been. So, rulers, leaders don't want to hear this message. And we see, that's why I'm reading this text, what one did. And the entire scroll was burned in the fire that was on the hearth. Now, I'm not going to read the entire part because it was rewritten again, right? And this is what will happen to those of us. An example, what happened to Jeremiah, who is called the weeping prophet. This is what happened to him because he spoke the truth. He said, because of the rebelliousness of the house of Yasha'al, what we call Israel, the city was taken. Now, I'm not doing a Nabah, a prophecy about what's going to happen to Jerusalem right now. You can read that for yourself in the scroll of Revelation. The scroll of Hazan tells us exactly how the seals, trumpets, and plagues will play out. And pray for understanding. Don't pray for someone's commentary or explanation, but it tells you exactly what's going to happen. I don't want to read that. I would rather you read the scroll, the book of Revelation now. Another thing you need to be doing now. I said this earlier. You need to be praying and you need to be reading scripture. So those of us who speak truly And in my case, read truly, because no revelation wasn't given to me. It's already been said, it's stated in the scriptures. It's plenty of warnings here. No one needs to make up something, no one needs to be a dreamer. It's stated matter of factly. So, those of us who exist in this truth, there's going to be a lot of pushback and our presentations will be suppressed. So, reading in Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 38, let's see what happened to Jeremiah, because he spoke what Yahweh told him to speak, creator Yahweh. And Yahusha's at the right hand of Yahweh. And they took Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, and threw him into the dungeon, right, of the sovereign son, Malchiyahu, that is in the court of the gate, court of the guard, excuse me, and they let Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, down with ropes, and in the dungeon there was no water but mud. So Yahweh, so Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, sank in the mud. You see, the warning is given. And the prophet, the Nabi Jeremiah, was placed in mud because of it. The warning is given, but the message is suppressed. And people would rather listen to the news play by play without understanding exactly what's going on and how it will affect your life, my life. Not just watching it, it will affect all of us, because at a certain point when the crisis is too much, Yahuwah, according to his timeline, his plans, and no one knows the day or the hour, Yahusha will be sent back to bring true shalom, true rest to Jerusalem that is called by Yahuwah's name, and the earth will be restored to the original plan of Yahuwah. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for listening.